Hello, welcome to the show. I'm Chris.
And I'm Nick.
Combined, we generate the Conjured Universe.
And we have another chapter of the Harry Potter series, Sorcerer's Stone, Chapter 5, and we'll get into it right away.
Here we go. Well, I'm liking the book. It's picking up momentum. It's picking up steam. Every chapter we do gets more and more exciting, more and more interesting, and the more and more I hate the Dursleys.
I think everybody hates the Dursleys.
I'm not going to deny that.
Well, we start with the book with Harry Potter waking up and thinking that it was all a dream, which is pretty understandable, I think.
Yeah, you're right. He's, all this things happen back in chapter 4. They're trying to avoid all these letters and things like that, and then now this
Giant.
yeah, this giant, I guess, and his name just blanked me for a second.
Hagrid. There you
yeah,
go.
Hagrid. Yeah, it's coming along. It's coming along. But yeah, he's just like, no, this couldn't happen. I'm just dreaming all this, right? And then no, he wakes up.
Hagrid's sleeping on the couch.
Yep, Hagrid's sleeping on the collapsed couch, and he's using his huge jacket as a blanket. So it's all legit.
So I thought it was really funny that the owl comes in, delivers a letter, and Harry's got to pay the owl. What does an owl need money for?
I hope we find out later about that, but that is true. I thought that was kind of funny. Like, why does the owl need a tip? Or is it like, earlier in the book with Professor McGonagall? Are these just, servant wizards that fly around as owls, and when they get back, like, oh, wow, look what I made here. Look at all these tips that I got.
That'd be good. That'd be pretty cool.
Be a pretty interesting thing.
She did turn into a cat, so I mean, maybe.
Maybe she did turn into a cat, so do we have wizard owls running around?
Good question.
That'd be weird if one of them was locked up in a cage and you're like, well, shoot, I better change.
Oh, okay. Here's this poor stray kitten.
Oh, look at this poor kitty over here. Oh, let's take him in.
Whoa there, buddy.
Whoa, hold it. You're not going to spay me.
So it said that Hagrid flew there the night before, but they're taking the boat back. How did Hagrid fly there?
I don't know.
In
We're
what?
missing some information.
There's no motorcycle this time.
Yeah, I was going to say, did he have the same motorcycle? Did he, what did he need like 3 broomsticks or? That's
maybe there's a sleigh and a couple of reindeers involved.
Yeah,
I mean,
could be. I mean, hey,
side job for him.
Side job, delivering presents. That's possible too. I like it. He's about the right size. Height wise, he might be too tall, but
So yeah, they get back. They're on the boat back. They're talking about the Gringotts Bank. Remember how they brought it up? They were talking about the Gringotts Bank, and it sounds like a pretty awesome bank. Like there's a part there saying anybody that tries to break into the bank will get sucked into the other side of the wall.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty. It's guarded by. It's technically not guarded by goblins, but it's guarded by goblins. They just happen to work there.
And as Hagrid's walking through,
gargoyles. I can't remember.
It's goblins.
Goblins. Yeah, I knew it was goblins.
Gargoyles are those things with wings and stuff.
And then further on, and as we're progressing through the chapter and reading the chapter, we're talking about he opens up the letter to show him what's required for the school.
Yeah, that's right.
Prior to going all this, to kind of just backtrack before we get to whatever he needs. Yeah. All this stuff, it's like the school chose him to go to it, but he has to get his own gear for it.
I can understand some of that. Like, you kind of want your own rather than a school-provided one. I mean, maybe you have one handed down from your parents. Maybe you have one from your brother or sister. The point, but
it's like, okay, you've been chosen to go to the school. We're enrolling you. It's almost like a scholarship type of thing. To be honest, that's kind of the vibe I got off of it. But you have to provide your own, uniform. And I understand in most schools you have to, but your own uniform. But this is not a scholarship school. This isn't a college. This is for wizardry stuff. You get to the school by other means. This isn't like going to college.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just like random. Maybe they thought have hand-me-downs, or I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I think they could have provided some of those things, but it might make it easier for them for like if they missed someone or if they missed getting supplies, it'd be more detrimental than if a student brought their own stuff. Maybe. I mean, it is a wizard school, so I think they wouldn't forget
maybe
things.
the wizard, maybe they made them get their own uniforms to provide the school lunches and things like that. Who knows?
Who really does know?
But yeah, I thought that was kind of something interesting. I remember when I was back in high school, I got into an argument with a teacher about something like that because I was taking a course. It was a mandatory course to take. It was math, and it was a math course, and you needed to provide your own $120 calculator, and you needed to provide yourself with the um, it wasn't a textbook, but it was like a packet that was about 400 pages long. Ooh. And that also was around $100 or so. And I told the teacher, I'm like, no, if the state wants me to, if this is mandatory for the state for me to graduate and pass the class, the state needs to provide some of this material. So she, after about an hour of debate, I had 1.5 hour long classes, so this worked out really well for the other kids. It was great. She just took the packet of information, walked to the office, copied it, and said, "Here."
That was pretty easy.
I'm like, see, I just saved $100 or whatever the cost was.
Well, I was homeschooled, so all my books were expensive.
Oh yeah, you were homeschooled.
It's a little different.
You would have fit right in with the wizard school, carrying around the rat the whole time.
Yeah, there you go. That little pet rat.
Hey, I had rats when I was. I actually had gerbils and hamsters. They were kind of fun. But anyway, before we get too far sidetracked, back to the book, I suppose.
Let's see. Where was it? Yeah, I was wondering, like, where's Hagrid from? Because they talk about him getting land. Like, they're getting off the boat. They're walking around London. I believe it's London they're in. And he's like twice ever in size. And he's making fun of stuff like parking meters and stuff. You'd have thought he'd have seen those before. And you thought that, like, where would he...
Yeah, where did he originate from? I mean, he was technically expelled from the school. So I wonder what I'm wondering if we're going to get more information about that later on in the series. But right now, in the moment, I'm like, what did he do to get expelled? Because he doesn't seem like he's a violent person or aggressive in any type of way.
He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like pretty mellow. He seems very loyal.
They're probably going to tell us later on.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to finding out.
Hope we find out, because I'm actually kind of interested to know.
They get to Leaky Cauldron, which is the name of the shop. And everyone all of a sudden notices Harry. And they start swarming him because he's famous.
Yeah, it's like watching Paul McCartney walk into Liverpool. I mean, it's a similar concept. It's like, oh my goodness, here he is.
Man of the hour.
It's like he just walked in. But he doesn't know it, though. He doesn't know how famous he is. He's been told by Hagrid that he's famous.
Having someone tell you you're famous and finding out how famous you actually are two different things.
Like, I don't know if I'd be able to handle that. Like, if I walked outside and then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, he's leaving his house.
I'm going back inside.
What did I do? And can they prove it?
They mentioned vampires, too. They mentioned vampires in a line somewhere in there. So there are vampires in the Harry Potter universe.
Oh,
I wonder what iteration they are. Are they like, what type of vampires are they?
I hope it's not the Twilight kind.
I mean, I was thinking that.
That would be horrible, though.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed in that type of vampire. So I'd want to know what the vampires are.
Maybe it's a Leslie Nielsen type of vampire.
Leslie Nielsen. All right, I don't remember that.
Dracula, Dead and Loving It.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
Oh, you haven't seen a vampire movie till you see that movie.
I guess I'll have to figure that out then. They get to the bank. They walk in. It's Gringotts. There's goblins everywhere. They need to go to their vault, and they also have to go to another vault, as per Hagrid on official school business.
Official school Hogwarts business.
So they get to Harry's vault, and there's piles of gold and silver inside. How did the Potters get so rich?
They're wizards. I know how they got rich.
Well, I mean, I'm
Hey,
sure they have
what's
their
that
own.
over there? Yoink.
That's a nice bank you got there. It'd be a shame if all your gold just disappeared somehow. So yeah, I wonder. I mean,
Bullion disappearance.
um, I wonder if I mean, they obviously have rules for wizards and like magic and stuff. So they would have had to obviously do it the legal way, whichever way that is in the wizard world.
In wizard world, yeah.
But how did they get so rich? Like, what was their jobs? They never mentioned yet what jobs they did or what they did.
I'm sure we're gonna find out later on, but
I sure hope so.
I hope so, but yeah, right now it's like, oh wow, they did have a little bit stashed away, and then Harry mentions that if the Dursleys ever found out about that, he wouldn't even known it existed. It would just be gone.
Yeah,
which makes me want to think bad thoughts about the Dursleys. Like, perhaps
they were already well off.
Yeah,
that's
they
probably
were pretty well off. I mean, and things like that. I mean, but I don't know. Now I'm starting to get a sense of just greed on them, where it's like, oh, whatever we could get our hands on is going to be ours.
They probably take it and say it's the cost of raising him. Oh, it's the added cost of having to pay for your things.
To put a light switch in your cupboard.
Yeah, to put some stairs over your head.
Like, you want something over your head? Here's the staircase.
Wonderful.
You get some dust on you every time someone goes down the staircase, especially Dudley.
They head to Vault 713 and they open it up, and all was in their little small pouch. Hagrid goes, picks it up, and hides it, and never mentioned what it was. And Harry didn't ask. From there, they head out. They go shopping, shop and all kinds of stuff. And
I like shopping. Shopping is fun.
Shopping is fun. Imagine going shopping for wizard things. Imagine all the cool stuff you'd see.
That would be awesome. To go shopping for wizard stuff, and to actually be a wizard. That would be kind of cool. I would think.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you.
It sounded like you almost wanted to. It sounded a little sarcastic. No, I'm kidding. Speaking of that,
he goes to go get robes now, and there's some other dude in there, some other kid, and Harry immediately does not like him.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I'm just like, well, this is going to be what do we call this? Foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
But yeah, I'm like, well, this is going to be a thing a little bit later on in the book and probably even the series. But yeah, he just immediately starts talking with him, and he and Harry's still trying to adjust to, like, okay, I guess I am really popular. But to back up for a second, the one thing I still am trying to grasp is they're trying to outrun, the Dursleys and Harry are trying to outrun these letters and these animals and owls and all this type of stuff.
Backtracking kind of far there.
Yeah, I'm going way back. I'm going back almost a whole chapter.
Ancient history.
Yeah, ancient history. And like, oh, well, you should have mentioned that a chapter ago.
No, never said we were smart.
Well, if I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be here. But then this big, huge guy says, "You're a wizard, Harry." Says, "Oh, you're a wizard. Come with me." Okay.
Whatever you say, giant.
Okay.
I mean, it was a giant. So I mean, if someone twice your stature comes walking in and says, "Hey, you're a wizard," I mean, I might be more inclined to believe him than not believe him. Especially when they mention strange things have happened in the past.
There's another word we have for that type of person. What is that called? Oh, I am completely absent. Oh, stalker, of course. Now, to be honest, though, it seems like the Dursleys did know who this guy was at the same time.
Or at least knew who he represented.
Or what he represents, which, okay, that's your gray area. But, some big dude comes blasting a door down inside of a shack on the top of a hill and says, "You're a wizard. Come with me." Isn't that kind of like...
Okay, okay, to be fair, how much worse off could Harry be? Really, he's in the shack in the middle of nowhere with no food in the middle of the ocean with the Dursleys.
Good
It
point.
can't get
Okay,
too
that
much
is a
worse than
valid
that.
point. Yeah, that is a valid point. At that point, it's like, okay, I'm super hungry. This guy has seen well. He had food on him, and I'm sorry, we should have talked about this in the beginning of
Yeah,
this, but he had food on
anyway,
him and everything. But
he
you're
seems to
right, though.
know
I mean,
Harry
yeah,
Potter.
he seems to know him pretty well. He knew his parents and everything, and then decides to. I don't know. It still seems a little bit weird that you just, oh, no, no, okay, well, I'm gonna just say goodbye to whatever it is that I know and just go with this big guy that I just met.
Yeah, they had enough backstory built up, and like things fit into the right places for Harry.
Yeah, that's true. And Harry, I mentioned it before. He knew kind of where to pick his battles and stuff like that. So, especially when he dealt with the Dursleys. So yeah, he probably thought, like, oh, what do I got to lose?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him.
Anyway, back to where we were. So
We're at the shops.
we're at the shops buying robes.
Robes, yeah.
Yeah, because it's bath time.
I don't think they're that kind of robes. So they meet the kid that seems like a jerk, and from there they go. And Hagrid gets Harry a pet because apparently you're supposed to bring a pet. I guess.
Now, was that mandatory to bring the pet, or
I think
was
it was.
it
I think it was
optional?
mandatory to bring the pet because everyone seems to have had a pet so far.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So he gets him an owl, a snowy owl, which I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I dig
The
that.
option
I
was a
like
toad,
that.
and I'm pretty sure I'd prefer an owl to a toad.
Yeah, I'm more of an owl guy myself. If I had a choice between the owl, the toad, what was the other one? There was
It's like
three,
a
right?
cat.
Was it a cat-like thing?
Was it a cat? I think it was a cat.
Was it a cat? Okay, yeah. If it was not a cat, let us know in the comment section. I would still go with the owl.
Yeah, definitely the owl. I mean, cats are great and all, but I mean, come on, it's an
Come
owl.
on, an owl that does stuff for you. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
So
Go get me one of them hams from the mess hall there.
make sure they tip you.
Bring me back your tip.
So they go get a wand, and they step in this wand shop, and the guy knows every wand that he sold, and he starts recalling the exact what it was made out of, how flexible it was, what was in it. Guy's a genius, remembers all of it, and he's trying to get wands for Harry. And I mean, if I was Harry, I'd feel kind of silly. Here, have this stick with fancy things in it and swing it around.
You know, we're
Right on.
just doing audio, right? You don't need to wave your hand around like
I'll
you're
wave my hand around all I want.
What are you, a method actor?
Hey, I can dream, can't I?
Me too.
See, he's waving these wands around, and I mean, I'd feel kind of silly just being handed like random sticks and like, here, swing this around, see if it does anything for you.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from that. And he even mentioned in the book that he's like, yeah, he was feeling kind of silly at first, just kind of waving these things around. And they went through wand after wand after wand until there was a huge pile of sticks just sitting on the floor. It looked like a game of pixie sticks.
Or pick up sticks.
Is it pickup
I think
sticks?
it's pick up sticks.
I'm gonna have
Pixie
to.
sticks are those candy tubes, like the powdered sugar inside that you eat.
Maybe I was having pixie sticks while playing pickup sticks.
I mean, maybe the pixie sticks were the pickup sticks.
Could be. You ever try playing that game with your foot?
Seems a little difficult.
Yeah, I never tried either.
So he gets his wand, and he said when he grabs it, felt a little warmer, like he felt a little
Yeah, it felt like
or
a
something.
sensation go into his hand and wrist, or into his arm, and right there you already kind of know like this is the one.
Yeah, and the Ollivander, that's the guy's name, right? Ollivander. Yeah, he's like, it's really curious. He's like the phoenix feather in that only gave one other feather, and that feather went into the wand of he who shall not be named. So it's like a weird kind of foreshadowing, kind of interesting.
It's like, oh boy, here we go, because as much as we don't know, we all
birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah, we all kind of know, and it's like, okay, well, this is going to set this up for the entire series. That's why this is exciting.
Right before this, I want to mention, right before this, they get in there, and he remembers Hagrid's wand, and he asks Hagrid about being expelled or something, and Hagrid's either one of them said his wand got snapped in half, and Ollivander asked him if he still uses them. Can you use a broken wand? Like, if it's been snapped in half, I would assume they snap it in half so it doesn't work anymore. But if he mentioned is he's still using the pieces still useful?
Let's see, when he mentioned that, he said that he was gripping his umbrella kind of tightly, which tells me that maybe the wand still works. He's just shielding it with the umbrella so no one knows that he's still using it. I think that they could still work.
He's probably gripping the umbrella because he's getting angry that, like,
or
they broke your wand, huh? You'd be like, ooh, those.
Or maybe he's sad.
Those jerks, they sat my nice, beautiful wand.
True. Or maybe he's sad because it's like, I can't believe I got expelled for whatever he got expelled from, and I was kind of sad about it.
Probably running in the halls or something.
But this umbrella that he has does do magical stuff. I don't know. I don't mention here.
His innate magic ability that's being directed through the
broken wand inside of the umbrella.
No,
like, have you ever seen it? I'm sure you've seen an umbrella before where you open it up and it's a stick that opens up to the umbrella part.
Maybe
a stick looks like a wand.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's not.
I mean, I kind of like the idea that he could still use it as the wand. Throw some duct tape on there. Maybe a little bit of
hocus pocus, and there you go.
Hocus pocus. El fixo wando, and you're good to go.
It'd be interesting to see if your wand has magic, snap in half. Does it have half the magical power now? Does it have a tenth of it? Is it still usable in the least bit?
The wand is only half a wand. I don't know if it's half magic or half non-magic.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll find out.
It's like my.
Can you repair a broken wand like that?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm telling you, heat shrink tubing. That's the way to go. How do you think I fixed my glasses? I didn't use a Scotch tape like Harry. I used heat shrink tubing.
You're talking about wands, not glasses. It's a little different.
Yeah, but I can see what I'm doing.
I don't think there's anything else that I can think of that was going on there.
But they basically gather up all their stuff. He gets what he needs and everything. He's got his wand, his robes, his other robes.
He's got some kind of a pewter cauldron too.
A pewter cauldron. He's got
his pet.
A glass or crystal file. I don't know if they ever talked about what kind he got.
I don't think they did. Harry didn't want to get a golden cauldron. He wanted to get one of those golden cauldrons. They're like, and Hagrid was like, no, it says pewter. I'm guessing they do that for so it's not like, look at how rich I am. I got a gold one.
And maybe pewter has something to do with the mixing abilities.
That too. I mean, you're probably right.
Well, what was that other thing we were doing where it was pewter and then it was pewter and then
I don't know.
Rubidite. There was a bunch in between.
You're talking about Elder Scrolls?
Yeah. I saw pewter. I'm like, I'm going to transfer.
I recognize that word.
I know this word.
This is in first grade,
I recognize something.
Yeah, that's a totally different magical game.
Yeah, but I saw some similarities in here. They talked about pewter. The a U wand. There's U wood in Elder Scrolls. I think it's 2 before you get to the Rubidite.
I think they're a little different than that. The pewter is kind of like a general all-around thing.
2 pewters for a dagger, 15 ingots of the highest one. I can't remember what it's called now. For the the good dagger, champion level 160. That is not a paid advertisement.
Oh, it should be.
It should be.
So it basically ends with Harry getting back on the train, going back to the Dursleys. They don't say how long it's going to be or anything, but he's going back to the Dursleys. I'll bet you they're not going to be too terribly pleased with this.
Yeah, they go back to the Dursleys. I'm sure that they're not happy at all.
Hey guys, I'm back.
And he has to live with them for a month.
I don't know. They didn't mention it. Does it?
Yeah, it says the first of... There's a long edit piece we're going to have to cut out. Maple Phoenix, no, it's right in the last paragraph.
Yeah,
Harry, your train, waking back, Dursley's hand on the envelope. 1st of September.
1st of September.
So yeah, August.
Okay, a month. That's not terrible, but still, like after all this happened, it's like, hey, you're a wizard. Let's go shopping all these wizard towns and wizard town and all these wizard shops. Okay, go back to the Dursleys for a month. I'd have been like,
I would have been like, oh man,
just so close, so close.
I thought I was going to get my stuff and I'm out of here.
He's
like,
not
nope.
that lucky though, but he's gonna get out. So,
but I am getting the vibe that this experience living with the Dursleys, as much as I hate the Dursleys, is humbling for him, which is going to pay dividends later on in this book and even the series.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrible place to live, but to their credit, they still took care of him. They didn't beat him at all. They didn't let him starve. They gave him basic necessities, and that's about it.
You know, they did just enough to not get DCFS called.
I don't think they have that over in the UK.
That's why it's called Sorcerer's Stone here, not Philosopher's Stone.
Ooh, aren't you a fancy person?
Yeah. Let us know in the comments why exactly they switched the name over here.
I remember reading the reason, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I remember reading it too.
Some...
I probably saw another video on it, and I want to know what our listeners have to say about the names. It had something to do with something like that, but
yeah, I can't remember what it was.
I'm not going to pretend I know what I'm talking about if somebody say they saw me say something.
Well, I think that about wraps it up.
Yeah, so that was chapter 5 of the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Stay tuned for chapter 6.
Take care, guys.